Hello everybody, it's Monster Forge again, and I'm back with something that most people should be familiar with. It's R2-D2. We've been knowing this little round, funny robot for, how many years has it been? A long time. I was 4 when Star Wars came out. If you do your math, you know I'm really old. Anyway, R2-D2. I love the guy. You love the guy. There's been Brazilian action figures produced of R2-D2. But this one's different. This one is not this one. Now, I know this one's yellowed out. It's an old toy now. This is one of the old... I can't remember exactly what series this was from, but it's what they know now called the vintage collection or whatever. It's just basically like, you know, the 3 3/4 inch Star Wars figure line that came out. Started coming out in the I can't remember, like the mid part of the early 2000s, something like that. It was Power of the Force in 94 or 95 that relaunched. And they did Power of the Force for a while, and then they switched it over to different things, and then it was like the Saga collection and something like that. And then I think what remained was the vintage original trilogy line, and that's what he is. He's an older one. He's not a super complex one. About the most amazing thing he does is, and any old Star Wars heads will tell you, the original R2-D2 that came out back in, I think they started coming out 78 or 79. I know it was like a year or so after the movie came out. That's when the action figures started coming out. But the original R2-D2, he didn't have the third leg. He just kind of stood straight up. He didn't have any kind of joints here. Well, this one doesn't have a joint either. No wheels on his feet or whatever, but his head had a little clicky thing. And so when they made this figure, they kind of did that as kind of like a nod to the old R2-D2. This one has wheels and stuff. But this R2-D2 is not the same as this R2-D2. And like I said, there have been tons of versions of R2-D2. You have some that only had the 2 legs. One had a third leg that you could pop in and take out, things like that. And, you know, the clickety head, you had one that you turn the head and the little periscope comes up. You had one you turn the head and the lightsaber come up. They had some that had opening compartments here where you had the little arms and all. But this guy is none of those, because this, my dear friends, is the BLOKEES R2-D2. Earlier this year, I think, they started coming out with the BLOKEES Star Wars figures. And, of course, I've done videos of the bigger ones, you know, the ones that are kind of close to the 1/12th. Is it 1/12? Yeah, 1/12th scale. These are actually scaled closer to the old 3 3/4 inch figures, like the old Star Wars figures, and now the vintage trilogy figures. But this is actually a model kit that you put together, and you can see here, this is the instructions that come with it, and it kind of gives you an idea of how it goes together. You put it together piece by piece, and it has some options for doing things different, you know, different options for the figure. But you'll notice, I can move that away for a minute. You'll notice that I have it here with a panel missing, right there. And the reason why I wanted to show off some of the features, he has 2 of these little panels that pop in, and each one of them has a hole underneath that it plugs into. But when you pop it out, you can put an attachment like the periscope. And the reason why I have it out already is because I've already marred the paint on this, trying to get the parts loose. Getting the little panel to pop out of here is, you'll swear. You will swear. I'm telling you. It'll make you cuss. They're really tight. and there's no real like a tab to pull them out with. So what I had to do is take the head apart and take this section out and then pry the thing out with a, you know, with like a little razor blade. Needless to say, whenever I have him displayed the way I have him with my collection, that it's a little panel that looks like it's the tiniest part that comes with the guy. But it's this thing right here. Let me get it in the light there. See if I can zoom in on it. It's this right here. And the little panel, you turn it to where the big curve is at the bottom, and you just slip it into the little hole here. But I won't do that yet, because I'll go ahead and show you now. He comes with, and like I said, there's two panels like that. This one is one of the panels. This one is another. And you just pop, and there's his little periscope. And you can turn the periscope like he turned, and you know, his head will turn with the periscope in it. Things like that. And he also comes with, oh, see, pop the whole thing out. Now, it wasn't doing that before. This whole thing, oh, look at there, you can stash something inside of him. Woo, extra features. Oh, that's a good place to store his extra accessories. Hey, hey! I'll do that. Anyway, he comes with the little periscope thing. And he also comes with, now, I don't know if this is supposed to be... Oh, I don't even have it on camera. I was looking at it off camera because I'm a dingus. I don't know if this is supposed to be Luke's lightsaber from Return of the Jedi, or if it's just like an antenna. If it's Luke's lightsaber, it's... I mean, I guess it... Dang it. I guess it could be, but it seems a little small, but I could be wrong. But anyway, that fits in like this. And, you know, it could be whatever. It could be a lightsaber. Maybe he's going to, like, bend over and shoot people with it. When I was a kid, and I had the original R2-D2, I would pretend like he would go out, and bad guys would be, you know, over here. And he would lift up, and because he didn't have the leg there, I'd pretend like he was a cannon. So basically R2-D2 would fart people to death. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and take this lightsaber antenna, whatever it is, and I'm going to plug the, oh, if I can, I'm going to plug the little panel back in, and it will probably never be removed again, because I had quite a time getting that thing out of there, and I don't want to mess with that anymore. But now, knowing that I can pop that out, I'm gonna put the accessories inside of him so they're all contained. Let's see, we got a little bit here. Okay, so the things he comes with, like I said, he comes with the little parts, the little attachments that go with him. And he also comes with, and this is really cool, this is a teeny tiny, come on, focus. A teeny tiny Princess Leia hologram. And it's really well sculpted. Like, I know BLOKEES does all of its sculpting and designing. That's my cat, by the way. She's playing with those little spring things that she likes. All right, go ahead in there. Good girl. She makes a lot of noise, but I love to watch her because she goes absolutely nuts. But you can see she's got her face sculpted. It's got the little hood over her little buns there. And sorry for the shakiness. That's just how I am. But yeah, it's nice. It's got the belt sculpted in and everything. It's a really nice sculpt for such a tiny little figure. And when I say tiny, I'm like, you know, it's let's see. It's the length of my pinky. You know, the one joint or one bone of my pinky finger. She's smaller than my thumb. But it's really cool, and it looks really good with light behind it, too. But, you know, you can have her, you know, you can reenact the scene where R2-D2 is projecting her on the floor, which is a cool little extra bit. You know, it's really nice whenever they have a figure that's a smaller figure like this, and to compensate for the price, they put extra accessories with them. I appreciate that, unless it's an accessory that's absolutely unnecessary. I've seen them do that too. But anyway, he has another feature. He doesn't have a clicky head. I think I showed that already. Doesn't have a clicky head. But if you pry off these little blue pieces that are on the sides of his legs, you do it on both sides. Now, I will say, okay, good, I got it coming out. I will say, the little middle leg here, it actually pops out. You know, it tells you to put it together this way, but you can definitely have, like, the old, you know, Kenner R2-D2 look to him with just the two legs. Or you know, sometimes R2 retracts that third leg and just kind of stands up and he'll wobble. But it's supposed to be displayed with the third leg, I guess. I mean, whatever you want to do. But the cool thing is when you pop those little blue panels out, you can pop these bad boys in it. And let's see, get it where you can see. Oh, there we go. You can pop these little guys on here and on here. And you have the little lifted out sections that are the jets that he had in, I think he first used them in Attack of the Clones, I want to say. I think he used them in Attack of the Clones, and he's used them in other media since then, whenever R2-D2's been doing stuff. And it's like, it always cracks me up how, you know, the R2-D2 we always knew from the original trilogy never had that stuff. Or he had it, but he just never used it in the situations that he was in. But, you know, you can put the little rocket blast on there. He's like, you can fly around or whatever. And, you know, it all just kind of comes back off. And the little side panels clip in. And, yeah, he's really cool. He's a nice, clean sculpt. He's got, articulation-wise, he's got the head turns. No clicks. I already said that. And his legs go completely around. They will pop off, which is kind of fun. I guess if you get different, you know, robots like this, you can interchange the legs or whatever. I don't know if that's going to be the case. The ankles on the two outside legs move a pretty good bit. And they don't fall out as easily because it has like a little trench thing. Of course, I had the light in the way, or I had my arm in the way. It has like a little trench thing on there that kind of holds them in place. Unfortunately, this foot, the little middle foot, you push it a little bit too far and it pops right off. It's got very little leeway there, but, you know, for the most part, he doesn't really move that leg much once it comes down. He doesn't have wheels, but he has a more accurate version of what the wheels are like with the actual R2. And, you know, this one has the wheels, so you can actually roll him along. And I appreciate that, but you know how often I roll this guy along? Like, he spends his life on a shelf with the C-3PO that I'll show you the unfortunate thing that happened to C-3PO, but he spends all his time sitting with C-3PO. So I don't really need one that wheels around. You know, if he looks good sitting there, that's fine. I got this from AliExpress, and their Star Wars figures, let's see, what did I say it was? I got them, they have them on the Dollar Express thing on AliExpress where you can order 3 items and get free shipping. I ordered some other stuff. I was going to show you another thing, but it broke right as I was getting ready to film the video of it, so I have to fix it. A little cheapo model kit. I'll fix it and I'll shoot the video later. But anyway, it was that, some Lego stuff, and I got him, and it was free shipping. And the BLOKEES figures on AliExpress, at least through the same seller I got, they were, at the time, they were $6.79. Now, I know that in the U.S., any of them that have been popping up is retailing around $8. But when I went back to purchase more of the BLOKEES Star Wars figures, the price had gone up to $7.02. And it might be even more now. I don't know. That's the prices on AliExpress. You got to kind of keep up with it because they fluctuate. So just a little heads up, if you plan on buying on anything on AliExpress, put it on your watch list and kind of keep an eye on it. Sometimes the prices drop, sometimes they go up. If a reviewer puts a review that gets enough views on it, like some guy did with one of the figures I was trying to get a little while back, a YouTuber put up a video about it. It was a cheap robot on AliExpress, and when I went back to go ahead and buy my figure, they were like 30 bucks, and they had been 15 bucks before he posted the video, so thanks. Anyway, just keep an eye on them. The prices drop and go up. But anywho, yeah, I got him for like $6.79. Is that what I said? Yeah, $6.79. I bought 2 more. So I'm kind of building a BLOKEES collection of the Star Wars figures. I tend to just collect BLOKEES stuff because it looks good. It fits together. The Star Wars ones seem to be more like regular action figures. They don't do that with everything. Like the Transformers, they're kind of like regular action figures, but they're still, the proportions and all are kind of off. You know, like they have big hands and big feet and stuff like that. And I like them. It's just, you know, I like that the Star Wars stuff is like action figures. And they did a line of the DC characters, and all of them are like little cartoony guys. And it's like, ah. And then they're doing the Marvel ones, and the Marvel ones are more like action figures, but they still have like a stylization, but it's not as bad as the DC ones. So you have to kind of check them out. BLOKEES on the whole, like, even if they are the little cartoony looking things, they're really well made. I highly recommend BLOKEES anything. But this figure is really cool, and I'll show you something. And this made me really sad because this is my favorite C-3PO figure of all time. This is the one, he's the C-3PO from the Vintage Original Trilogy collection, and he's the one that snaps apart so you can store him in a bag on Chewbacca's back. But I went to pick him up, and he's just sitting on the shelf, and I pick him up, and his arm falls off because C-3PO is yet another victim of GPS. And if you wonder what GPS is, it's gold plastic syndrome. For the longest time, the toy industry used a type of gold plastic, which is kind of like, it's more like a caramel color, and it falls apart. Like over time, it genuinely just falls apart. And like this one, I might can get it out. I'm gonna have to replace it anyway, but see, this is the gold plastic in here. And just sitting on the shelf for a long time. No action with this guy, which I never really posed him much, you know. He was always just kind of like, I mean, I would every once in a while, but like this knee has the gold plastic in it. It'll fall apart. The hips right here are gold plastic. I don't know if, is his waist? I think his waist comes apart. Maybe it doesn't. No, his waist doesn't come apart. The head comes out. But it's not the gold plastic in there. But, oh, you know what? I'll be doggone. Like, everything on the inside of this guy. I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me pull a light over here. You can't really see it from there. But the whole thing that holds him together on the inside is that gold plastic. So, I'm going to have to do an overhaul of this guy to get him back to working order. But, yeah, he had not fallen or anything. It's just the joint disintegrated inside, and it just fell off. Like he was sitting on the shelf for a while, and I hadn't moved him, and he was just sitting there. And as soon as I went to pick him up, I picked him up, and whoop, his arm fell off. So, but anyway, I bring him out just to show that here he is with C-3PO, and I think they look pretty good together. He always looks bigger than he should. There's something about this size R2. Well, you know what? Actually, he is bigger. So that lets me know right there that the BLOKEES figures are going to be a little bit bigger than, yeah, like if you look at him, he's a little chunkier around the midsection there. The dome is bigger. The legs are longer. Yeah, so these are not compatible with 3 3/4 inch figures. I mean, I guess you could fudge it. I don't have one of the upright human or robot figures to compare to the C-3PO. So I don't know, but there's something more pleasing about the BLOKEES figure, and I found that in general with most of the BLOKEES Star Wars stuff. The human characters, their heads are sculpted in more like an anime style. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it really, like the Han Solo and Luke in the champion, is it champion class, the ones that are like closer to 6 inches, their faces and all look a lot like the faces on the characters from Gatchaman or Battle of the Planets, G-Force, that kind of stuff. Is old 70s or early 80s cartoon from Japan. I'm assuming it was 70s because I watched it when I was a kid. But anyway, the parts of them that are human, that look like humans, look more like anime characters. But anything that is like machine tooled looking, like a robot or armor or stuff like that, it tends to look more accurate to the original props and all that they used in the movies than some of the stuff Hasbro puts out. Like Hasbro fudges a lot of details. They do their own thing and kind of, like, particularly with like the Stormtrooper helmets, the Black Series Stormtrooper helmets don't look anywhere near as exacting as the BLOKEES do. So that's one of the things. Like, if you want a really good, clean, smaller version of R2-D2, I can't recommend it more. The only problem with the BLOKEES stuff in this size, they're blind packaged, so you don't really have a way. You can go on eBay and pick particular ones you want, but you will almost always pay more for them than getting a blind package thing. So I'm just going to do like I did with the BLOKEES Transformers and just get them cheaper on AliExpress and collect them that way. Anything less than $8, you're saving some money because the retail here is $8. So if I can pick up one or two whenever I do my Dollar Express thing where I get free shipping for 3 items, I'll just do it that way and collect them that way. And any extras I can have them there for trading or whatever. But this is my first foray into the BLOKEES Star Wars smaller scale figures. I don't even know what they're calling that line because this is the Asian release of the figure. It's going to have nothing but the, I guess that's Chinese? I'm not sure. I'm not good with the kanji thing, but, yeah. Hero. So this is the Hero series is what it's called. Okay, and it does have English on it, so I guess maybe both of them do. I know in the past I've bought BLOKEES Transformers stuff, and when I buy it from AliExpress, it's almost like everything on the packaging and everything is, except for maybe like the title Transformers or the name of the particular figure you have, it's all in Chinese. So that's not a problem. I like the way different languages look, so hey, well, but it's a good figure. If you get a chance, grab some. These are really good. I can't wait to get some more human or humanoid figures and see how that goes. I just put in an order and I threw 2 of the packages in with the Dollar Express, so we'll see what those are like. But anyway, it's been Monster Forge, and I hope you enjoyed this look at the BLOKEES Hero Series R2-D2 from Star Wars. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.